Hi, this is Attila16 and this is a video of Wargame European Escalation. In this case I'm actually playing NATO, and you can see my army here if I restrict to who I am normally. Well, anyway, I'm the guy right here. So I'm in charge of the left flank, and some people did ask me to go a little further in analysis of what kind of troops I have, as well as what kind of troop the enemy has. So let's do that. Let's go neutral. Okay, so the stuff I used here was Gazelle, which is a good recon chopper. Here I have a few Milan infantry with an APC VAB transport. Here I had some Sheridan tank. Sheridan are actually very nice because they have a missile and they have a cannon and an auto cannon. So it's a kind of universal tank, and it's pretty slow though, so that's the only downside to it. Then I have a few Jeep which are Milan. Let's see here. Here, these are Milan launchers, so it's like a tow missile, but French version. I have some more infantry here, some more Milan Jeep here. And what else? I have some Velarise, which are a good French tank, like that. And what else? You have a Recon Jeep, and I have 2 units of Chaparral, which are long-range anti-air, as you can see here, and a few Roland, which are a more medium-range anti-air. But the advantage of the Roland over the Chaparral is that you have a lot of ammo for them, while the Chaparral you have a lot of range but less ammo. But if you actually hit something with the Chaparral, you might damage it way more. Now if we check my allies, here you have some infantry, riflemen probably, or something like that. Here anti-personnel. Okay, these are actually anti-air infantry, which is something Cynical Moose is using here. More infantry, more anti-air infantry, a few Sheridan, some Jupiter to resupply, and here is the specificity of Cynical Moose army, an insane amount of artillery. So you will see that this will play an important role in this game, and that make also this replay way different from what you saw previously. Okay, now let's see Bob Wolf here. He has some Sheridan for Roland, some Gazelle to recon, anti-air infantry here, a few French tank. Oh no, actually that's French artillery. Here you can see in blue, kinda. Yeah, there's also probably Milan infantry. Yeah. So we have a quite a French army here. We have 2 FOB. Now let's see the other army, what it's made of. Now here you can see quite a bit of choppers, but these are the basic chopper, so they are not particularly amazing. Here you have anti-air, T-72, which is like a basic Russian tank. Here you have some artillery. You have at least 4 of them, so that's much less than our insane army of artillery. They brought the supply chopper. This one is huge, and that brings a lot of supplies. It's a really nice spray. And here many tanks, T-72 and T-62. So our adversary are really oriented toward tanks. Some anti-air here. These are similar to the Chaparral, but yeah, it's similar. So that's pretty much it for their army. And let's see the map. As you can see, it's a lot of ground and mostly open. So what that means is that that kind of environment, the infantry, short-range infantry, is not particularly good. At the same time, missiles are particularly good, and tank can be effective in some case, but It's clear that with an open environment like that, the missile will be the most effective weapon. And also, when you see the map, it's there's a river or in the center, and the different areas are separated by bridge, so it's a crossing point here, and that means that whoever will go there will have to cross that. And usually what happens is that you have one team which will come here and secure this, while the other team will come here to secure this, because you're sure that the enemy will attack from there. So let's see what we'll do with this. So we're moving now. We have I sent my troop in fast move, so they are using the road, as you can see here. While here you have an insane amount of artillery which is coming from Cynical Moose, and he's firing randomly on the enemy. So let's see what it does. The enemy has a lot of supply depot. I think they had way too many supply depot. And now you have Cynical Moose insane artillery barrage on their troops. Also, this is kind of low level versus low level battle, so I was pretty low level back then, and so were my partners, and so were my adversaries. So this is a battle where people did not necessarily had all the units unlocked. So you can see here a pretty big chopper attack, followed by quite a lot of tank, which are going to secure that area here, and the chopper are likely to go further. Well, on my side you can see that I'm sending my Gazelle ahead, and I'm likely seeing all this coming, which means that it gives me a short moment notice to react to that, and this also give my friendly time to react. Now, Cynical Moose in the center, he had a lot of anti-air infantry, which turned out to be the perfect match for that kind of army. So you can see that there's quite a lot of anti-air coming on those chopper. Sadly, they don't necessarily all hit, but he does manage to destroy quite a few of them. At the same time, he's losing quite a few troops, but the thing is that chopper ammo is really expensive. And here he has also more British anti-air infantry. And the strange thing is that you know, normally it's not particularly recommended to use anti-air infantry because they are not really mobile. But he did a great use of it, and I did help a little with my chaparral here that I diverted instead of keeping up here. So we literally obliterated their chopper force, which was a great loss for them. On that side, Bobov decided to take it cautiously, so he just decided to hold it, which was a kind of a good move, because the enemy did not send much troops on that side, and at the same time I sent all my troops on the other side of the river. And now you can see my ATGM Milan that are shooting their missile on the enemy tanks. And there's also Cynical Moose artillery coming and falling on the enemy. Well, I have many Sheridan there. Lots of Valorize here and Milan, so they are holding against a pretty impressive tank attack, as you can see here. Now my Sheridan were a little too exposed here, but this is compensated by the good positioning of my missile launcher. You can see quite a bit of missile flying around, as well as Cynical Moose artillery, which is bombarding and demoralizing the enemy tanks. You can see that their tanks are being reduced in number quite a bit, And there's a lot of artillery coming their way. And this is all about the long-range exchange of fire. You can see that my Milan Jeep, they are receiving fire, but they are well concealed, and the enemy are receiving so much fire that they are panicking. I lost my Milan infantry here, or actually there's only 3 soldiers still alive, and the enemy doesn't really know what's there, so they are shooting randomly on me. Now at the same time, when you look on that side, there's a significant amount of tank advancing in a kind of chaotic order, and these will likely cross here, and the enemy is actually reconning a little with the one recon vehicle, and from that point oh yeah, I did advance on that side with 2 units of infantry, and I did manage to destroy a few units that were there, but the enemy did not send much here. So following my offensive nature, even though I only had 2 units, I kept pushing forward, and I simply advanced. The enemy was moving some artillery to answer our artillery, and my infantry intercepted them, kinda. So unloading my infantry, and they fired on the enemy artillery. Sadly they did not destroy them, but I'm sure the enemy wasn't expecting that. At the same time, that gave me intel on what was coming. And here there was actually an havoc which was concealed somehow. No, it's an havoc which is coming actually. Now once again, following my offensive nature, I kept going with my 2 infantry, and I went toward the enemy here, which were receiving a great amount of artillery from Cynical Moose. I started to capture their FOBs. But sadly, he brought a Havoc chopper which intercepted my infantry. Because that small infantry unit could have gone pretty far. Now I don't remember if we actually saw this. I don't think we did. Let's see. Okay, we did not see that there was any enemy around here, but we decided to bombard that area, which was a good move because the enemy kept hiding all their troops there. And also on my side, what I did is I secured the area here. That prevented the enemy from having 3 points of reinforcements thing. I moved my troop here, and I did not have any intention of going to Gulf because we had already more points than they did. While Bob Wolf here decided to move forward, and we did manage to spot their troops here. So Cynical Moose quickly turned his artillery toward the strong concentration of T-62 here. The enemy was likely busy looking elsewhere because, or actually he wasn't. His T-62 were out of fuel, so that was a great thing for us. So Cynical Moose artillery did the work there. Now we spotted the enemy recon there, so Bob Wolf started to move forward, while Cynical Moose kept bombarding a pretty big enemy formation. The enemy also had a chopper here to resupply, but the thing is that he landed too far, so his troop did not refuel, and he had to bring his chopper in the middle of this hell. So that was a really bad move on his part. Not sure if how much tanks Cynical Moose actually managed to destroy in there, but as you can see, that is a pretty intense suppression fire by artillery. But now the enemy is fixing his stuff, and you can see actually if you look at the different unit that some of them were really damaged, and many of them are panicked totally. But the thing is that he could not really fix all this, because that will require a lot of supplies. While Bob Wolf is moving forward with the Sheridan tank and a few anti-air Roland, as well as a few anti-tank Jeep, like that, as you can see here. And the artillery bombardment keep going, so that forced the enemy to move, or actually his troops were so panicked that they started to move by themselves. It's unclear from now. And that chased them toward Bob Wolf Sheridan, which can use missile, and with those missiles he did destroy a large amount of tank. So let's see the result of this. Let's go back to neutral here. You can see all the missile coming. And they're getting destroyed by those missiles. And there's also the artillery, which keep harassing them. And the thing is that the fact that Bob Wolf did not attack on the right side gave the confidence to the enemy to actually move on our side of the river. And as a result of this, you can see that they're getting completely exterminated. Just by the insane amount of artillery Cynical Moose is using. Personally, I'm not a big fan of artillery like Cynical Moose did, but in some case it can be effective. But at the same time, when you spawn as much artillery as he did, you're not attacking. So I think people need to balance out the amount of artillery they use. Now you can see one chopper which showed up to attack Bob Wolf troops. That was completely exterminated by the Roland anti-air. And let's see. Well, you get the idea of what's going on here. I think the only problem Bob Wolf had is probably the fact that his troop ran out of missile. But the enemy is so messed up in terms of damage that you can finish them off with cannons fairly easily. While on my side here, what's happening? The enemy is pushing back with a few T-62, and I'm just doing harassment, not doing anything particularly useful from this point, because we're leading by at least above 2,000 points. So the defeat of the enemy was certain. There was no doubt there. And with the amount of artillery we fired on them, it was just crazy. Some people, they really use a lot of artillery. I'm not a big fan of that, but it can be good. It's just that you need to be careful, especially if the map is small. You need to be careful. If the map is wider, it's not as important, but at the same time you're never safe from a chopper flying around you. So I guess anti-air is really important if you have artillery, because enemy Delta Force or that kind of stuff can come in and destroy your artillery. As you can see on that side, there's still a lot of artillery falling on the enemy, as well as missile from Bob Wolf. His Sheridan really did a good job there. And they still have a lot of missile. Not sure if he actually resupply his troop, but it was clear from there that the enemy had no means to counterattack us. Now the only weapons the enemy still had was some artillery here, a few BMPs. And here I was moving forward perhaps a little too aggressively, because those BMP were able to take care of my infantry. And also he had some Tunguska, which have a good cannon, which is effective against infantry. Well, not super effective, but effective enough. There's no reason why they kept that many BMPs in the rear like that, but I guess by my attack I made them doubt a little. And now they're just firing back at us with 4 units of artillery, but that's way too little. And here you can see the single T-62 that survived this crossing here. You can see all the wreck around the place. So many wreck of T-62, and the place is burned down. And now Cynical Moose is bombarding the enemy base, and there's not much else to do. The victory is certain. There's very few troops that can change anything. Now we send an Apache, which is hunting down a few enemies, but Cynical Moose is deciding to hesitate there, so he's not pushing. But if he had destroyed Tunguska, we probably could have won right away. But on the other hand, he actually did manage to destroy the command vehicle. So that was really good, and there was only one command vehicle remaining. So I went in the zone here, lost a few of my troops, which were a non-matter, and that was a victory. So as you can see, I was pretty low level back then, and so were the enemy. But that was still a very different battle from what you saw previously. And I hope you enjoyed it, and tell me if you want to see more of them.